Ohio State's offense eventually wakes up, beats Maryland 37-17. I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means and Andrew Gillis, and we're grading Kyle McCord, as we always do with Ohio State's quarterbacks right after the game. 19 of 29, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, did take 3 sacks. Stephen, what's your grade for OSU's QB?
I'm going to give him a B+. We're standing out here in this. It's very windy, which explains some of the balls that maybe got caught in the wind. But we were talking about this upstairs. His stats don't match maybe what we were seeing live at times. And I think some of that is just they had some explosive plays later on in the game, but it didn't feel like it was always maximized. But the offensive problems, which who would have thought we'd live in that world where Ohio State's having offensive problems, but it's not him. He's not the issue. I think he's not taking the big jump yet that we've seen from Justin Fields, that we've seen from Dwayne Haskins, that we've seen from C.J. Stroud. But he's taking these little incremental steps week by week by week that he's showing he's improving. And I thought I saw that today, even if I don't feel like every throw was maximized outside of going to Marvin Harrison Jr. 35 times.
58-yard reception by Marvin Harrison Jr. over the top on one play. It only led to a field goal, but that was a big chunk of those yards. So one of those 19 was 58 yards. Andrew, what is your grade?
I lean B, and, to break the fourth wall a little bit, we did do this on the field, and it's so windy out there that it was knocking the camera over. So this is one of those days where it was not easy to throw the ball. However, you look at the numbers, and there are some good numbers, but I saw in the first half a quarterback that was hanging on the ball too long. The first I was 1 of 2 of 7, 1 of 5 to start the game. Not great, not a great start for him. There was a play where there was a couple times where I looked at Steven and Nathan in the press box, and I would say he's looking at one read the whole time. Now, I'm curious if that is the offensive line's a problem, and the coaches are telling him get a read and get the ball out. If he doesn't trust the offensive line, I'm curious what that issue is. But for what it was, I thought it was fine. I thought. You got the team to a win, played well in the second half. I think they scored on every drive except for that, that game-ending drive where they took a knee. So, they did well in the second half, and they did enough for a B. I think you still need to see this level of progression. What I saw today, though, was, I think, the floor. You saw a quarterback who's not really going to make a ton of mistakes, even in a day or a time when the team is struggling, like that entire first half where they scored 3 offensive points. You saw a quarterback who's not going to do the things that Talia did, where Talia makes a bad throw and it leads to a pick 6 the other way. Kyle doesn't make those mistakes, and that's what's big for me. So I'm going to say B. You got the win. You didn't kill Ohio State in the first half, and you play really well in the second half. So I think it kind of balanced itself out a little bit.
I'll say B as well, taking the conditions into account a little bit. My issue is, though, when you say, I think we saw the floor, well, kind of expected more coming out of an off week where they had 2 weeks to prepare for this one opponent, and you're playing at home, and it just feels like the offense was supposed to take a step. He's supposed to take another step, and that just didn't really happen today. I thought he was fine, but it wasn't necessarily, to me, a progression for him. And there was a point in this game where, like you said, it's like 1 of 5, 2 of 7 early. Like, it felt like it maybe even a step back. And I want to give credit to Maryland because I thought their DBs played as well as Ohio State said they were going to. I thought they were giving them some tough windows for him to throw into. Not a lot of separation there on some of those routes. And God knows this run game wasn't really helping support the pass game today very much. So taking all those things into consideration, I'll give him a B. It was productive, and it's important that he isn't making the mistakes, right? Like, it would be one thing if he were playing just okay, but there was the one, frankly, what Talia Tagovailoa did today. That's what Kyle McCord didn't do. Like, Talia Tagovailoa today, he was playing a better defense, but made some really bad mistakes, and that's kind of been the hallmark of his career, frankly, is that he's very good at a certain level, and then he hits a ceiling. And that's not happening with Kyle McCord. I think he's coming in and avoiding those mistakes that just kill a team, whether that's throwing those picks, whether that is making the wrong decision on throwing the pass underneath and run out of time at the end of the first half. Like, those sorts of things are based on quarterbacks and the way they process and the way they think on the field, and Kyle McCord is succeeding there. So you're going to have to kind of just take that while you wait and see if the other thing can open up. But that's going to have to open up with the rest of this offense opening up at the same time. More discussion about this on Buckeye Talk. Get out wherever you can find podcasts and get the text 614-350-3315.